All right, welcome to another video from the chart readers. Today we are going to do the psychedelic sector, and we're going to do what we always do, right? We're going to look at the daily and the weekly to see what swings are setting up. We have our 5 moving average lines, these horizontal support and resistance lines that I do manually draw, and then when we are done up here, we will use the MACD and the RSI as our lower indicators. So it's been a while since I've made this video. I'll be honest, I actually don't even remember when. So I'm going to take a little bit of a zoomed out view, but we'll focus mainly on the last few days as we always do. So look, mind medicine, we have a pretty hard gap right here, right? Definitely did not happen. It looked like a couple times like it wanted to, and then clearly just kind of riding down the 8 below, right? A little bit of a move here, definitely got stopped by the 20, loses both, and then just drops. Really, for whatever reason, kind of has this 2 days. Maybe it was the strength of the market. I'll be honest, I'm really not too sure what, right? But hey, look, we broke the 20. Definitely a few good days, right? This is maybe the closest thing to a confirmation because look, this was not over. Man, this thing's been so laggy today. This was not over. This was not over. This was the first day that actually closed over. I wish it was a little bit less doji, right? There was a moment when it went that high, a moment when it went that low, and then just kind of sits in the middle, right? Not that far from where it fell, right? But ultimately, look, the last 2 days have not been good. We're actually under the 8 as well as the 20, which is not a good place to be, right? Not a great MACD and RSI, definitely not a horrible one, but yeah, not looking good. And obviously, this needs to fill the gap, right? That's really what we're following. Just a lot of negativity here. Again, this thing did a reverse split, went as high as 12 if I'm not mistaken. We'll see that thing in the weekly, I'm sure, down to the 2s, right? And I always say whenever you do a reverse split, generally you'll go back to where you made that split, and this thing is just kind of doing that, right? But again, look, if this can break the 20 with good confirmation, right? This broke the 8 and the 20. 2 lines in 1 day needs really good confirmation. You know what I mean? So if you can break the 8 and the 20 and get good confirmation, I'm telling you, there's some good money to be made here if it happens, right? So that said, nothing happens until it does, right? That is what I like about technical analysis. Hey, this weekly's not look, it's not great, right? We're definitely under the 8. That's not where we want to be, but it seems like the down has kind of stopped. We're going a little horizontal, and hey, we're now at a pretty pivotal testing point with the 8. Obviously, I wish we broke above it last week, right? This isn't necessarily great, but hey, we're still kind of at a rough 50%, right? 50% candle on the weekly. Not a good RSI, not a good, again, overall, this really needs to get over by Friday. And then I think this says it well. If it could break 3, there's a lot of good running up here. I mean, this is just nothing but red and a lot of gap to fill on the weekly. And I imagine on the daily, yeah, it'll really speak to a lot of it. This is a pretty big gap. That's obviously another big gap. Yeah, interesting to see how this plays out. CYBN. Coming into CYBN. CYBN I really like because honestly, this thing really follows the 8 well, right? If it wants to go up, it does. Once it loses it, it really loses it for a while. A little more horizontal on the 8 than I've really seen this thing do in a while, right? But I think this is still a pretty big line here. If it could break 48 cents, that's a pretty good gap fill to go through right there, right? Probably get us close to that 58 cents if it could break it. Again, we've seen so many good stocks fail the 20. We've seen the major markets fail the 20, right? So don't underestimate what this 20 could do. It is very hard to break at times. And really, look, there's been at least a little bit of a ride here, but definitely not a good break. The last real time we were over it, was the last time we broke it strong right here, right? So it just goes to show you, CYBN really plays well to a lot of these lines, and that's a great thing, right? If you know it's over these 2, you have a pretty good shot of knowing it's going here, right? If it's still under the 8, believe me, this thing likes to ride the 8. It will ride it down. It will ride it down, but on the flip side, it will ride it up pretty well. It will bounce, go, right? This thing is it very much likes the moving averages, right? But right now, not looking great. Again, not looking too good on the weekly, right? We saw what looked like an attempt up, definitely fails back down, right? And quite a bit of distance between the 8 and where we sit on the weekly. And remember, you need a good weekly chart to get a bunch of good daily charts, right? ATAI. Ooh, a monster 13% day. Ooh, I am actually not too sure what happened here. However, a lot of good stuff happened right here, right? We got a nice MACD, we got a nice RSI, definitely broke both the 20 and the 8. Look, if this thing can break the 50, honestly, if it could break 323, 324, this could be some real nice trading. I mean, you have the 100 all the way up here. That's, I mean, roughly speaking, at least 20%, right? This is probably at 360, 370. Yeah, I love it. 60 cents is about 20%, right? So, hey, if this opens at 324, I would be real interested at seeing what this does. So I did it on the last video. Let's see if, yeah, I'm going to do it right here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to set an alert when ATAI crosses this line. I'm going to set my notifications as default. What I do is I get a text message. It's very nice. And boom, there you go. That's how you use alerts, right? Alerts are beautiful things, right? And ATAI actually looks interesting. Again, I really don't know what this was. I don't know if this was news. I don't know what. Two important things. Number one, I talked about the dollar. Number two is volume. The amount of volume that this had on Friday needs to be close on Monday. You do not want 50% less, 60% less. I'm telling you, I've seen it where this day, for example, has 150 million and then the next day has 50 million, right? You can't lose 66% and expect good things, right? So volume needs to hold, 324 needs to break. And I mean, there's a lot of good things here. Again, that's a real pretty RSI, still super low, right? So this thing can go into 65, 75 range even before we start even getting worried. So there could be a nice 20% gap right here, actually. So watch ATAI. Again, look, I'm happy to see that we did close over the 8. Again, we want to see that confirmation next week. And again, if we can get over 323, there is a bit of a downtrend here, right? I mean, sorry, a gap right here, right? A little bit of history here, so maybe not a super clean one, but yeah, break a 323 would be real good. Yeah, love it. CMPS. Compass. Okay, dang. So look at what happened here. Again, we talk about the 20 a lot, right? I'm just zooming out a bit because I don't remember the last time I made this video. But look, once it lost the 20 here, I mean, the 20 has been a struggle. There was a nice little move here, right? But again, a little bit of a fail. Was a nice another move, but again, the 50 became an issue. And unfortunately, since this 50 fail, there's been a pretty hard drop. Yeah, I don't like that we're under the 8 and the 20. That's definitely... Hold on, I'm sorry. Kitty, what are you doing? Don't do that. Sorry, there's some treat wrapper on the floor. But again, yeah, not a good thing, actually. Look, hopefully this bounces for whatever reason. I did really like ATAI, so maybe that'll be strong enough to kind of bring everything else a little bit up. But yeah, nothing really looking too good here. Kind of seems like it's going to come back down to 923, and look, we're under all the moving averages. That's not where you want to be in any trade, right? So man, look at that. Again, last week looked good. It looked like we were going to come over the 8, something we haven't done in a pretty long time, actually. So unfortunately did not get the confirmation we wanted on Friday, and a lot is going to happen at this 1360, right? So again, that's a real nice distance if it makes a good run. Where's 1360 on here? It's not even in this view yet. But yeah, 13 again. We have our like if it could get there. But again, 1, 2, 3 moving averages, and really 4, 5 with this cluster right here. So a lot needs to happen before that. Compass definitely not one of the better ones on this. Simply put, sorry. SEEL, Celos. Okay, so look, what's happening here? It's a very tight cluster, right? There's 3 lines right here, and then the other 2 up here, right? Going horizontal, looked like it was going to lose it, but then ends up kind of making a pretty good run up. But again, 2 moving averages up here, and again, just kind of falls in. Right now, it's definitely under, right? And look, obviously, you don't want to be on the wrong side of a cluster. That said, for whatever reason, this was a bounce point. I don't have a line. Maybe when I zoom out, we'll see if there should have been one. But yeah, it seems like we're either going to keep going horizontal or potentially lose it here. I don't like that the green one's going down. That might be a death cross. So you like it when the lower ones go up and above bigger ones. It's definitely not good when they go below. So, and then here would be another one where the 50 is going to go below the 100, right? You like it when it goes above, not below. So, couple negative things on Celos. Let me zoom out a little bit. Yeah, okay, let me make some lines. But really, I don't see where it would have bounced on those other ones. I'm honestly only going to make that one right there. I guess I can do this right here. We'll at least put one at the bottom. But there's probably another one right here we can make too, just kind of in between the two. But I'm okay with just this for now. So, okay, that is Celos. Again, so far, ATAI was definitely the best one. Let's see what TRUFF looks like. I think I put too many buttons. No, I did not. TRUFF. So Red Light Holland. Again, this one is very much a penny stock, right? So it is heavily contingent on volume, heavily contingent on how the major markets do. If the NASDAQ, Dow Jones, and the S&P are good, this at least has a chance of doing good. If those are bad, these will do horrible. That's just really across any penny stock, especially this deep in the penny world, right? What are we looking at right now? Look, nothing too fantastic, right? A bunch of movement. Again, this is one of the problems with going into this penny stock world is any little thing can make some crazy volume jumps happen, right? Again, this is not a normal candle by any means, right? I almost wish I'm not showing this in all honesty, but hey, this is a pretty small sector, so you're kind of limited, right? But look, just immediately speaking, we're under all 5 of them. That is not a good RSI. That is not a good MACD. That said, look, volume is what's key here. So, a little hesitant to show this. Again, there's just technical analysis gets really, really dicey when your daily average is under 100,000. And even that's a really low number. You know, I personally like to trade around that like 1 million plus number, 2 million plus, 7 million plus, right? 12 million, 100 million. That's where you're getting some like nasty double digits in a day, right? When you're sub 100, when you're in the 70, 30K, 20K, I've seen things that don't even go above 10,000 in volume per day, right? That's a bad thing. So just kind of keep that in mind with TRUFF. Again, technicals don't look good, but for whatever reason, if this bad boy wants to, on a good support, it can do some silly things. But again, I by no means am saying, look at this one. Even if the technicals were great, I'm still very hesitant on this. But nonetheless, there will be a point where this will be well worth our money. I promise you that. So all that said, hey, I hope you're learning. Give this a like if you're all the way here, and I'll be making these a little more consistently.